everybody. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Today really is December 21st, and it's almost the end of the year. We're at 2020 almost. It's kind of crazy, but I think that we've got some major things coming. We got a lot of people that are interested in doing different things. We got a nice little community that's growing well. And I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing on a Friday or Saturday night than hanging out with like-minded people, doing the same kinds of things that I want to be doing. And I just think that this is a really great time. I can't tell you how excited I am for everything that's happening. It's kind of a dream come true in a way, because I live in a place where there's not a lot of musical resources as far as like the kind of stuff I want to be involved with. Yeah, I can go and find drummers and guitar players, and they all have their place for sure. But what I'm trying to do is something different. I'm trying to create a new way. I'm trying to create a community that does things completely differently. I mean, think of, Wu-Tang with streaming. Think of, any of the great groups that have persisted and have left a legacy behind. I mean, you're never going to know if you don't try. So that's really what I'm trying to do. Today, I have a guest with me. If you're just joining us from the premiere, thank you. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the questions that were asked during the premiere. If you haven't seen the premiere, I'm afraid I'm popping here in this thing, but if you haven't seen the premiere, there should be a card that pops up either at the beginning of this video or somewhere in here. I haven't quite figured out how to do the whole card thing inside the live streams, but you can go on my channel and watch that premiere. That premiere just went over an entire process using streaming to make music. So I'm going to bring in the guy I had a great time with today. Our premiere today, but it's taken us a couple weeks. So with me today, I'll bring you guys Raul, also known as Lifted Noise. So Raul, thank you very much, my friend, for being here, for taking part in all this stuff. And it's really great to have you on board, fully invested. Let me tell you, man, watching that back.
Yeah.
You're bought in, bro. And I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support a lot. So.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the invite. I believe in it. I feel like it just kind of came parallel with what I'm trying to do next. And I appreciate what you're doing. It's the whole just stream era. Just that word itself, I think it has a ring to it that means something. So I think we're doing something here, and I appreciate it. Thank you for thank you.
I mean, I think it does encompass a lot of different things, I mean, we're talking about a concept. So with concepts, there's a little bit of nuance there. You got to kind of find our own way. We don't even know what the technology is that we're using. I mean, we don't even really know the intricate kind of audio things that happen, but all we know is it's fun, it's easy, and the hardest thing is just finding the time, So, but having said that, man, you're doing a great job on your channel. You're doing some really good content. You've got a really good knowledge base of the MPC. We've watched you grow. We've watched you. And you started on Instagram, right?
Yeah, actually, I started on Instagram with the intent to do YouTube, just to kind of get myself acquainted with sharing stuff. Because I think for the longest time, I think a lot of creative people will understand the whole perfectionism thing. When you create, you want to have the best representation of yourself. But I think just letting go of that by sharing what you have, even when it's imperfect, I think that's the first step to actually, I guess, improving and finding some growth. Because, but anyways, just going back to what you said, what you asked me about, I started with Instagram. I started doing the 1 minute finger drumming thing with the intent to do YouTube. Just wanted to get acquainted to actually sharing and stuff. And so I think I did that for about a year. So I've been doing this for a while. So I've been doing YouTube for a year and a half, maybe almost now. and I think it was just getting acquainted with the consistency thing, and then
That's a thing.
and it was difficult too. It still is now, and I'm trying to get back to Instagram. I think I had a solid week where I was like sharing daily, and I would like to be more active on across different platforms. But yeah,
Right.
it was so started on IG with the finger drumming, and now we're here on YouTube. So
Hell, it's been a lot in between though.
Mhm.
Some of the tutorials and stuff that you've done, I've watched a lot of your, you know, ability to make your own sounds. A lot of people aren't using modulation. Damn, seems like every time I do a rat chat, something falls on me. But so your ability to do like modulation and stuff inside the X, or sorry, inside the MPC. I have an X, but inside the MPC Live, um, whether you're using effects and whatnot. So, do you find that there's particular kind of, you know, uh, effects or modulation processes that you like to use or that you found recently that were helpful?
Yeah, well, when you say modulation, it makes me think of LFOs. Is that what you're
Yeah,
referring to? So
yeah, LFO stuff like
and
that.
I'm new to that concept. I've heard about it, but I've never really started using it. And
Okay,
so with some of my tutorials, I was trying to figure out a way how to emulate the SP404 kind of lo-fi sound. And so I found a couple of ways to do it. I think with the 2.6 update, where you're able to what is it, automate grid view stuff or grid stuff within grid edit, then I was able to modulate the pitch. But I think now I lean more towards using an LFO. It's much easier and quicker, and
it
it's
is.
just a subtle thing. So I'll use an LFO on a pitch and just raise it up a couple, and that's pretty much it. And you kind of have a lo-fi sound where it's like the warbling pitch sound. That's
Right.
what I mostly do now. I think there's some difference. I think I'm just probably just lazy. I want to just
Eh,
I'm lazy. I just want the workflow to be so streamlined that I can get stuff done efficiently because you said earlier, time isn't exactly on our side. We live in fast-paced lives, man. We work 5, sometimes people work 7 days a week. I've done it myself, but I work 5 days a week, got family and stuff, and then weekend comes around, you got laundry day. That's laundry day. That's one day. So I got one free day, really, and I get a couple hours if I ask my wife to go and take the kids out and stuff, and I could work on like YouTube and stuff. But
right.
the point was, we were talking about LFOs, and I went into that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So what other things do you find yourself gravitating towards with like MPC workflow? So where do you get your samples and stuff from? Where do you find inspiration?
um, it's always been vinyl, I think, to begin with, just within the hip hop tradition of taking stuff and sampling.
Do you have
Um,
a favorite era or like
what's that? What
your
era?
era or like time like style that you obviously probably jazz and stuff, but is
Yeah,
there anything obscure that
obscure.
that people wouldn't really think of that you like?
Um,
For me,
no.
ethnic,
Yeah, yeah,
sound.
yeah. Okay, now that you bring it up, I think that's something we talked about. I do have some ethnic sounds. Well, I guess vinyl. As far as vinyl, I do tend to lean towards the solo instruments, like we were talking about too, just as a starting point because I like to create around that. But yeah, I like the shakuhachi sound. I think I have a record down here. Oh, it's right there. How convenient. Stuff like this, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, right now I'm actually just trying to develop my skills to be able to compose a little bit more. So that's where I'm at. Just starting from zero, from scratch. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Can you just turn your mic down just a little bit?
Yeah. Sure.
Just a very small amount.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna just
Is that good?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little better. Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. So, um, man, we can talk about a lot of different things, bro. Like we've been on Marco back and forth. If you're not familiar with Marco, it's a really cool app that you can use to communicate with people. So there's a Stream Era Facebook page where there's a Marco app in there, and you can get in touch with a lot of us like that. But what I found is that with most people, just being able to drop a message and get back to it later is pretty convenient for a lot of people. So we've had a lot of back and forth talks, man, about stuff that we probably wouldn't get to
Definitely. Very
otherwise.
useful, very useful app. It almost sounds like you're sponsored by Marco though.
It really does sound like I'm sponsored by them, but
Yeah,
really, it's just
because
such a communication tool.
Yeah, it's a great app.
I
Really.
mean,
So
even in that Premiere video, it's like, how can you not love something that you can actually use to show like how you communicated through a process? It's like I don't know, it's pretty damn versatile.
yeah.
But what I wanted to touch on was some of that stuff that we talked about. So I had you put together some, formal information for me, like on a Google document. We talked about a lot of different things. Um,
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I think the worst of what's worst could happen just right now.
okay, it's all good.
I
Go ahead.
imagine it
Go
might
ahead.
happen.
Take your time. Take
Oh,
your time. I'll entertain the folks. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, what's up to everybody? Hey, what's up, guys? Who we got in here? What up? What up, Bobby Long? Appreciate you, bro. We got, hey, oh, well, I don't have one, so I'm not sure, but somebody in here might. Let's see what's up over here. Hey, what's up, Phil? We got some news. Don't let me forget about the other stuff, Phil. All right. Okay, Make Beats is back. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. And Big Will. What up, Big Will? Hey man, it's nice to see you guys. Who else we got in here? I did see Gemini. Uh yo, here's another guy right here. Peace, bro. Peace, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Couple weeks in a row. So very nice. Hey, I just want to remind everybody or let you know if you missed a premiere, the premiere was really, really cool. A lot of the StreamEra guys put in on this. So it was really cool to have, music from certain people. So there's a lot of mentions in the video. So please go and check it out. I mean, share this stuff so we can get the word out, share. And then, obviously, if anybody's in here that has YouTube channels, just go and subscribe to each other, subscribe to each other and then share each other's content. This is how we show unity. You want to know who somebody's with? Go see who they share. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I do share content from all over the place, but my sole focus is the guys that have my back. So, yeah, so let's just run this thing together. Everybody in here, man, you guys can all be a part of this. We can all do collaborations. Everybody that I've talked to is in. So, let me see if there's anybody else I missed in here. Looks like I got everybody, I think. So, yeah, when Lifted gets back, we will go ahead forward. But really, I guess since he's not here, what I'll do is I'll just discuss a little bit about the process that we used. So, somebody had asked during the premiere, how are we doing this? What it is, in a nutshell, is you have a broadcast software like StreamYard, which is what you're actually looking at right now. What I did was I developed a process to be able to use StreamYard and streaming services as a sampler. In a way, I'm using my MPC, I'm using my Deluge, and I'm using my computer to run the audio from the feed back into the computer for sampling. So what happens is you end up getting this really unique kind of lo-fi sound that you're really not going to get any other way. So the reason why this is cool is because we are now in a place in our society and technology where we can do so many different things. There's also a video I did with Student. This was the first StreamEra collaboration. He's in China, and I actually was able to collaborate with him in real time with almost no latency while he was in Beijing and I was here. So it turned out amazing to the fact where I just felt like I needed to do more of these. There's ways to increase the distortion. You can lower the bit rate. I mean, you can do other things like, resampling into the stream. Like I can actually create a broadcast on my own and sample my own content into the stream and then record it and chop it that way. So in the Premiere, I was actually chopping what was coming through the stream. You could see very clearly I'm chopping the record that's coming through the stream. And why that's cool is because I can have like 10 people at one time in the stream. So if there's 10 of us in here and we're all sampling the same material and it sounds different already, you got something really cool. and the latency is so little that we can actually uh, connect each other, like with using delay. My mixer, I can delay audio coming back, so I can actually sync. If we wanted to try doing live jams together, I can actually make this work. It just takes cooperation and a lot of hard work, but I'm willing. So let's see where we're at with Lifted. Let's see if he's back with us.
I'm back.
He's
Sorry,
back.
I had to change mic, so this is the new me right here with
All
this.
right. All right. That's cool.
So
Oh,
yeah, sorry. So it's just funny because I got this arm, like a broadcast arm, and I had nowhere to place it, so I placed it on the windowsill.
okay.
And for the last 2 weeks, it's been up there, and it's been kind of janky.
Has it?
Yeah, it looks like it's been moving slightly. And earlier, I was thinking to myself, what if that falls off while we're in the middle of this live thing? And sure
Right.
enough, I caught it at the corner of my eye. It was slipping. So
Hey, we're back. That's dude, this is what happens when you're live. This is the kind of stuff that happens.
this is what
So
happened.
it's
So let
all
me
good.
know if I'm coming through good. If I should
Yeah,
turn it
man, you sound great. I wouldn't change a thing.
for sure.
Does everybody else agree? If you agree, just go ahead and let us know. And if we need to make an adjustment, we can do so.
I
Um,
know
it's
what's
hard to
going.
make adjustments after it's said and done. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. Let's see where we were. Um, all right. So, I have a bunch of stuff here. I'm not sure now. Now that you took off, now all my stuff is all janked up too. So, why don't you tell us if we, can people find you on IG? Can
Mhm.
they find you? Where can people find you while I pull up this other little document here?
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me on IG, of course, here on YouTube. Um, I'm on Twitter a little bit, not as often as I'd like. Also on Facebook, not as often as I like, but I'm there. And now on TikTok as well. I think that's the newest platform that I've joined. And you can find me at Lifted Noise on every one of those platforms.
Okay. And an email for you, maybe, or do you not want to give that out? That's
Oh,
totally fine.
that's fine. The email is public on my YouTube channel. You can find it in there. It's
Oh,
public on
true.
my IG. It's liftednoise@gmail.com. The one confusing thing is that lifted noise with my Gmail is spelled with a Z at the end instead of an S.
Right. Okay.
So
And I gotta make sure, man. I just had our entire Google Doc up, and now it's not pulling up on my computer. Okay, I got it back here on my phone. That's good. All right, let me get out of here. All right, man. So let's go back real quick before we talk about some other things. Let's go back and talk about where were you like where are you from, man? Like
like
you know,
where was I born?
yeah, like give us a little early Raul Pizarro, also known as Lifted Noise. Tell
No.
us a little bit about yourself because I really want to help in any way I can with your transition from the tutorial guy to a
Yeah.
guy who's
I
able to do some more live streaming stuff, you
for sure.
know. So,
I guess there's no better time than now. No time
yeah,
like the present.
yeah.
It's not really been something that I've jumped on, talking about specifically, where I'm from and all that, I've kind of hesitated as far as how much information I want to share.
And
But
that's totally fine too.
it's fine. I mean, if people care. I was born in Costa Rica. So I came to America with my mom and my brother when I was one. She brought us out here. And I don't know if you caught this, but I did send you a Marco. When we first moved out here, we actually moved to Maine. I don't know if that's something that you want to reveal though. But kind of,
Dang. No, you didn't tell me that.
it was in a response to something that one of your Marcos. But anyways,
What?
yeah, that's where we lived. And I think it was Bangor, Maine. I don't know. That's
That's
like,
where I live, bro.
yeah. So I think I lived there for a couple years, but I was like
When?
between 1 and 3. So it's
Damn.
a vague memory for me.
Dude, I would have been like so I think I'm like probably like 6 or 7 years older than you. So yeah, I would have been in like 3rd grade.
I'm
Yeah,
three
that's cool, man.
So just
All
get
right.
there.
Continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, then we moved out to Northern California. And because we had some family out here. And I've been out here pretty much my whole life. I've stayed within California. I've visited Costa Rica a couple of times since. But yeah, I went to school out here and then I moved to I was in Sacramento, California for college. It was kind of a trade school, music engineering or yeah, audio engineering and music production. So I went there for a bit, for about a year and a half. I got a little bit of a degree, weird thing about that is that school ended up going bankrupt or something. They're no longer in business, which is, I don't know, whatever. But I got some knowledge from it. So that's really the whole reason why I went down there, you know. And it was never my intention to become an audio engineer. I don't think that really interested me. I just wanted to do music, and I was just following what I wanted to do. And I think I hesitated on actually going to school just because I didn't care about all that other stuff, you know, the norms. It's just I just wanted to go to school for audio engineering.
Right.
So, does that answer your question? Or if I
Well,
left?
it answers as much as,
Yeah.
if you wanna continue on, I mean, it's up to you. I think it's really cool, man, that you wanted to fulfill a little bit more of this audio, even from when, so how long ago was that? That was like,
Um, I think about 4 years ago.
okay, so it's still
Well,
quite,
actually about probably like 5 or 6, because I graduated from there and then I moved to Southern California. I was in San Diego area, Northern County, I believe it was what it's called. So I was there
okay.
for about a year, and I was just working out there, working on music in the bedroom.
Mhm.
Um, did like a live performance here and there, not much, and then finally moved back just because the situation wasn't great. Moved back to town, and then that's when I met my girl, and we
Rest is
and
history.
yeah, rest is history. You got some kids now. We live together, and I'm trying to do this in
That's
the
great, man.
meantime, and trying to do the best with what I have. You know.
Great. So, since we're at that point, so I asked you to provide some information for me, right?
Yeah.
Remember, I was like, give me some stuff, give me, sound packs, whatever, let's try and do something. So, Phil, who's here, Phil was just talking here a minute ago. Let me
What's up,
see.
girl?
Phil's here. So, Phil and I have been working kind of behind the scenes to get you set up with something on the Stream Arrow website. So at this moment, I believe you should be able to go into the streamera.org website and get all of Lifted's sound packs. You can check out his bio. You can find links to him and his material. There's other stuff that this is a spot for you, bro, to kind of curate on your own. And we talked about and obviously will help it. And we also talked about like maybe doing something further down the road where you could have a little input on the website itself. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna check and see right now. I don't know if
Okay.
Phil's still with us right now or not. It was ready to go. All it needed was just to be published. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of curious to see how it turned out. Because I could probably share it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it while all right. So I know that you've done some DistroKid type videos on your channel, and we talked about um, the whole Spotify thing that you haven't gotten to the point where you're uploading stuff. But
No.
do you have any sort of like timeline or clue about how you feel like you're going to go about uploading beats? Or I know you're still working on your craft and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
one step at a time. But I do somewhat know where I'm going. As far as DistroKid, I don't know when I'll start uploading. I still have to do so. DistroKid actually sponsored one of my videos, so they actually kind of sped up the timeline for me because otherwise I probably wouldn't have jumped on it. So I signed up, and they wanted to sponsor one of my videos, and I said, yeah, I jumped on the idea because it's something that I've had in mind. I looked at that company, that website, and that platform, whatever you want to call it, and it was like, yeah, this is something I want to mess around with, you know. So I
right.
think they sped up that process. But the next step that I'm on is, and my next video next week will be on Airbit. So Airbit is a beat selling or a beat leasing platform, and
Okay.
that's the next step that I want to jump on. Um, as far as selling or leasing beats online. So I
Mhm.
have a free account over there. I'm going to start leasing beats. I'm going to upload one, kind of show the process. And that's just what it is, just kind of just experimenting or trying things out. Um yeah, so I'm just trying to figure it out. That's kind of what my YouTube channel is about, you know, it's just documenting things cuz I don't have it all figured out for one.
Right.
And it's okay, and I want this to be an encouragement for people. because I feel like a lot of people don't have it figured out and they feel like they don't know where to start. And so I think just start. That's the whole thing, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I studied YouTube for a while. Before I even started doing YouTube, I was studying like the best practices, and I think it was like video creators or something. That's like a YouTube channel. And the main kind of theme was that you just need to start, you know.
I
And
saw that.
yeah, so it's
I saw
just one
that
thing
too.
that I kind of like mirror to. I've tried to do this vlog called a skill building vlog. I've only done a couple, but I had kind of like an intro where I said, you know, something to this effect where you just got to start with the knowledge that you have, and then you'll learn some things along the way.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you know right now. You just got to put it into action, and then along the way, you're gonna learn some stuff. So don't be afraid that you don't know it all or your stuff isn't perfect. Just go. And that's just me speaking from experience. So don't be hard on yourself either because
Right.
I've done that for a long time. You know, just wanting to have the perfect sound. I don't want to share this. A lot of people are there, I think, especially as creatives. You know, if you
Yeah.
you're tapped into like you're sensitive. You're tapped into something that's like in the ether, so to speak. You know, it's in the air. So you're like
Totally agree.
thing, and then you're turning what your perception of things are into something tangible. You know, and you have an attraction to do that. And so just go, just start. You know, that's number one. Just start. So you're asking me what I'm doing next is really I'm just going with the flow. I have an idea. Behind me, you'll see a calendar. So I write down YouTube video ideas, and that kind of guides me to what I'm doing next. And you know, and little things along the way will point me towards which one I need to do next. You know.
Yeah. I that's actually, organization is such a huge thing that we don't really take a lot serious. Excuse me. Hold on.
Good.
Oh, wow. Red Bull. So yeah, the organization and like mental health are just two things that beat makers do not want to talk about.
No, for sure,
And I'm here to tell you, man, I need all the help I can get.
for
So
sure.
my wife is a professional mental health person, and I'm probably the craziest person out here. It
Oh yeah,
has, you know what I'm saying? Like
tell me
I,
about it.
I need a lot of help, bro. Listen. I
I
don't
know
sleep.
you're preaching to the choir. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So hey, let's do this. I got this up.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this. So this is the streamera.org
Uh,
over here. So if I click on that, then okay, we're gonna get into the home page here, and then you can see it. Okay.
yeah, I can see it good.
Okay. So this is the home page. You scroll all the way down. Get rid of these things. You scroll all the way down right here, and then you see lifted. So you're
Cool.
the first profile, the first official profile. Let's
Pioneer.
let's get some more profiles in here. So let's click on this,
Come on, fellas.
and then right here you got
Yeah, I haven't even seen this yet. I think
no.
last
We
time I
kept
went on
it.
the site was a couple days ago.
No, we kept it private until we were ready. So
Nice,
this was the time. So here you go, man. This is it. So we got some samples here, some sample beats. You got a bio, and
nice.
then you scroll down. You got some some nice stuff, man. Links to all your stuff here.
It got me all highlighted right there with the white. I like that.
This is Phil. Phil, this is how we're gonna represent our artists
Nice. I like that. You gotta
by
tell me.
our artists. Anybody that's affiliated with the Stream Era community. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we'll get one in here for everybody that's already participated too. Anybody that's been in the rat chats, been in the collaborations,
Mhm.
you'll be in here. So I just need a little cooperation from you folks so I can get some information from you.
Yeah.
All right. So here, we've got a spot in here, and Lifted's going to be posting some of these inspirational quotes, but he's got a whole bunch in here already. And here's his sound packs.
There they are. This is all stuff I've given away for free on my YouTube channel. So, um, yeah, there they are.
There they are. And then we're going to be able to continue this effort, man, and just
For
keep
sure.
keep putting stuff on there. So that's cool. And I think that anybody else that wants to do this stuff, just reach out. If I don't know you, if none of us know who you are, just come in the chat, say what's up, subscribe, show support, go to the Facebook group. Kanan Walker. He's goes by Kanan, KAY-NIN on YouTube. He's kind of running the Facebook thing for us. So everybody's got input, and this is cool.
Yeah.
So, man, all right, we've talked about some weird things, bro, and I saved something specific for weirdness. I think you probably know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
All
Okay.
right. So, uh, do we ever have like thoughts about, man, what's in the sky over there? Like when I was a kid, I was laying on my trampoline. I was about 12 years old, and I'm looking up at the sky. And I remember having this thought where I was like, wow, there could be another kid on another planet laying on his trampoline looking up at me,
Yeah.
you know? And I just thought it was the weirdest thing to like have that kind of thing where you're just like 1 minute you're in the moment and the next minute you're like in outer space thinking about
Mhm.
weird stuff. Do you ever have these types of like
Right.
uh deep kind of like thoughts about, just whatever, man. Like there's a lot of like ancient alien stuff out there. There's
Yeah,
stuff,
I've seen the ancient
universes.
for sure.
Are you a believer, man? Are you a guy that thinks we could be? I know this is Rat Chat and we've just talked about music, but I also love to hear about people's insights on things like this. So it's cool to me.
Yeah, I've seen the ancient alien things, and I enjoy the little theories. It's fun to think about. Yeah, so I had a story like that when I was a kid. Like my earliest memory that kind of defines my existence. I think is the way I put it was that yeah, I had the same kind of idea that you had. I was wondering if there was a world out there where there was like a parallel universe where there was someone like me doing the same thing or like exactly the opposite. So I think that stuck with me, but I don't know. That could have been a result of some other experience or a TV show that I saw, but it did affect me, I think, in a way, regardless of where the thought came from. And I know it's led me to down a road of where I look into spiritual stuff a lot. I've studied religions and read about um that kind of thing. From I read the Quran and I've read portions of the Bible, a lot of it, the Bhagavad Gita from the Hinduism tradition, Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths, and I've studied those things and kind of meditated on them, and I feel like I've developed a philosophy from it, and there's a lot of parallels within those things. So as far as the alien thing, if that's what we're addressing,
Well,
you know,
believe
I
how
think
about higher beings? How about
yeah,
that?
for sure, and I think it's all up to interpretation, like and just like the ancient aliens thing, aliens, ancient astronauts, angels, whatever it is, it all comes down to like the period in time where people lived and the way they interpret it based off of the environment that they lived in and how they could describe it. So
Yes.
yes, yes, I think there's much deeper than the surface. I think we are distracted by our physical beings that we don't really think about or meditate on those things, and we're far from knowing the whole truth. But
I
yes.
mean, one thing that I always think is relevant when these conversations come up is like, do you really think that you yourself are the highest being possible?
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. It's almost kind of just the human condition, the
It
ego is just, "Oh,
it
we're
is.
we're the smartest thing." Well, you just proved that you're not.
Man, I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of things that fight the cure,
mhm,
but ego definitely fights the cure, you know? Like, because
right.
ego you need ego, it's somewhat of an ego to be successful in some ways,
I think
but
so. I
but
think
then again, it's also a detriment, so
wow.
it's
Yeah, I appreciate what you just said though, because I feel that that is like kind of a necessary evil because it's
it
almost
is.
like and this is going to sound egotistical. It's almost the ego that is Raul that's necessary to want to be driven and ambitious enough to put myself out there to be able to say some things that might benefit others. And what I would say is that ego is in a way it's love, which is the lack of it's the selfless that really gets us to that point. And I won't be able to articulate myself at the point right now.
You are.
I would, but that's pretty much it. Sometimes I lose train of thought, but that's what it is. So there are some necessary evils in life, I think, and perhaps the ego is something that is a necessary evil for us to overcome in order to actually become our true destiny and what we are.
The only thing about ego, and its, potential for power and for detriment is that You need to be able to use it in a way that's helpful.
Sure.
Because I've found a lot of times that it's really easy to be like, um, let me go and do whatever because I think that that's in my best interest. But if you're positive about things and you consider the journey as the most important thing, then you can have a giant ego. It's okay, because if the journey and the process is the most important thing to you, then everything that's encompassing your moment at that time is the most important thing. So, being a person that I think everybody has ego, you're not going to be even like friggin', the Dalai Lama's got an ego. We're humans. So it's just about keeping it right sized, I guess is,
Right.
and social media, man, that's the place where you find out, um, how people want to be perceived.
Check it out.
And
Check it out. Yeah, and ego comes in many forms. So don't be deceived by that because I'm an introvert by nature, but I think that I'm becoming an extrovert by moving out and doing things like this we're talking right now. It's something that I wouldn't had wanted to do, a couple years back. I'd be way too anxious. And I have a little bit of anxiety still. That's normal, that's fine. But what I'm
yeah,
trying to say is that ego comes in different forms. It could come in a super shy manner, which it was for me. You too proud to actually show yourself. That's ego too. So I don't know. There's something there. There. So, but
yeah,
yeah, ego, it affects us all differently. So it's important to have some self-awareness and be honest with ourselves in order to move on and grow and overcome from those things. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I think that it's hard. It's hard when if you're by yourself all the time, like not being a part of a community or not being out in the real world. I spent about 5 years just wishing I had like some like just some people around me that I could do stuff with. And I just never found that where I was. And then when you finally find people, you finally get to see like this is how people operate. And for me, I'm like a hermit. So I had to learn
Yeah.
like guys like this guy right here.
Kanan.
No, well, yes, Kanan,
Okay.
Agent Smith,
Agent
yeah,
Smith. Okay.
78, great role model. So these are the types of people that, and also Kane, these are the types of guys that you kind of have to just follow their lead a little bit sometimes because I don't know what I'm doing. I just know like I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of ideas and I have a lot of skills. So why not just try to use them in a positive way? So
Definitely. That's all you can
yeah. So, man, we just went on a tangent about aliens, and
do.
so that's cool. And let me see if there's anybody in here that's got. Are you able to see the chat?
I can. I got my phone right here. I was trying to peek at it.
Okay. All right. Oh, I just heard Gamma. Oh, there's Gamma. What up, Gamma? What's
I
going
I
on?
I can throw you off
Yeah.
your kind of bullet list if you had one. If you want, we could talk about gear. I don't know. I kind of want
Yeah.
to ask you some
Let's
questions.
go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
sure. I think there's a contrast between I mean, we both love music, but I look at your studio and I'm so intrigued because I'm like, man, I would love to jump on all that gear and then just see what it is. And I don't know half of the gear that you have.
Yeah.
What drives you to have a setup like that? Why?
Okay.
Because, because
So.
I'm not. I mean, I would love to do that too.
Mhm.
I've got like I'm like the opposite. That's why I wanted to kind of just talk about the contrast between what we got going
Absolutely.
on.
I think it's a great question. Thanks. I mean, I appreciate that. So, listen, my wife and I are complete opposites, but it works. And I think that's what happens. So, with me, what ended up happening was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was watching this video of a dude named Beardy Man. And if you don't know Beardy Man, shout out to Beardy Man. He's a live performer, but he built his own giant like performance rig where he's got iPads and he developed his own software and he
Yep.
developed his own way of making music using only his voice. So he uses his voice to make the everything in real time, like on the spot. He goes around traveling the world doing these performances. So I was thinking to myself, man, if this guy can do this, if I was gonna make music, I would wanna make music in this way where
Sure.
it's immediate,
For sure.
and because music is therapeutic for me, it's very therapeutic. So these sounds, like programming things, anything that takes me out of my head and into like the zone of making music is
Yeah.
therapeutic for me. So
For
when
sure.
I got my first synthesizer, I got this real junk. Like I still have it. It's a CZ-3000. It's a Casio, and it was cool, but it really didn't have any sounds that I wanted, but I did learn how to program it. So
Nice.
I was like, well, let me go get some iPad apps. So I got some iPad apps. So little by little, I realized what I like and what I don't like. I've had a lot of stuff. I've had like Moogs and Poly Evolvers and like really, really expensive stuff.
Very
And
cool.
then what I found out was that really what I like is a very specific sound. I like saturated reverbs
Mm.
because I wanna chop them. Like, I wanna chop these things, So, when I buy gear, if it doesn't work in my studio, I just sell it. Like, I
Yeah.
only keep what I use at this point, except for my, 2000 XL. I still haven't got anywhere with that thing. But so, like, you can actually buy stuff if you're smart. You can buy stuff used and sell it for nearly the same price and basically try stuff out for free, you know?
That's funny because I do the very same thing, but I end up just keeping a few pieces. I've owned so much. I've probably owned as much that from what I can see,
Mhm.
I probably have owned that much gear, but not in that same type, not synthesizers, but I've owned different MIDI, different keyboards, different controllers,
Yes.
MPCs. I've had the MPC 500 probably 3 different times, 3 different MPC 500s, but never all at once. The 2500, the 1000, all those kinda rotated and, like, sold them, wanted them back, but then other gear as well, so, yeah, I'm
I
on
think
that with you too, so
I think that if I was exposed to music and culture in the reverse way that I was, then I would probably be where you're sitting in that same thing, where minimal, just use.
uh-huh,
But because I came into it backwards, I came into it watching a guy doing something that's only possible by one person.
mhm,
He's the only person because it's what he's using is a very specific. He's built this software, so he's the only person in the world that has it. And
mhm.
so I'm trying to make that like out of all this, like with Ableton, the Deluge, and I've got some pretty cool workflow at this point where I'm able to sample stuff in real time, chop stuff in real time. I don't have to stop anything. I can
Yeah,
just
okay. So you don't stop, I think I find that intriguing.
I don't
And
stop.
revisit what you do, or do you
No.
kinda just you try to just get it done all in one?
What I do is I have a lot of times what I do is I have different sections of like, if I have a sound on my Prophet,
Mhm,
I have a sound on my mono station, I've got a kit loaded, and then I hit record on
mhm.
my switcher, and then I switch so I'm controlling all the cameras, and I'm controlling all the equipment in real time to create a video. So almost all the stuff that I consider, representative of me is all in video form because
Okay, I was about to ask you that, so whenever you create music, you're always doing a video thing too?
yeah, it's always in video.
'Cause you
So
have it set up where it's all ready to go,
all
right?
the time.
Right.
Yeah. All I have to do is just go in because the thing is I found that anytime I had to move a camera or I had to
Yeah,
set something up, it just drained my creativity.
and
It
that's where I'm at. I just use this, but I have to set it
Yeah,
up. If I wanna have 2 hands to actually move around, I gotta put it on the
right.
but you've seen my videos, I go like this, and,
I've seen hey, and actually, I've noticed, man, like, I see what you do too. You make it just out of the angle of your arm. So, like, you hold your hand up and you tilt it just enough so you're, like, just barely below your elbow. So it looks like it's just not you, but if
yeah,
you look closely, you can see, so you're using what you got, man, and you're using
kinda
it well.
funny. Yeah, it's kinda funny when you think about it, but
So, nah, I mean, it is what it is, but you know what? I found out today
yeah.
that, YouTube allows you to do several cameras, and I did not know that
Oh,
until
no,
today. Yes. So, like, and each camera is considered a broadcast.
what do you mean?
So, if I have 3 cameras, which I have a webcam, I got a couple cameras right now if I wanted to set those up.
Yeah,
I have 3 cameras, and they're all casting to a single feed, but they're all separate they're all separate broadcasts with their own data.
Hmm. That's some real nerd stuff.
I, it is, and I can't wait to get into it.
No, it sounds dope, man. It's interesting.
Way, you guys are all benefiting from my nerdness, so
Right.
let's go, you
No, man,
know.
I wanna get on that. I've told you that I'm interested in this live stuff just so everyone knows. If you are a subscriber on my YouTube channel, this is Will has been helping me out get to that point where I would be comfortable and actually have the knowledge to be able to do live streams on my own. But of course, Will also wants to collaborate on that kind of thing with me. But just so y'all know, that's a possibility for where some of my content will be going. So
Yeah, and hey, if we get something together, that's cool. If I'm just, helping in any way, that's cool too. I have no expectations, so
for
yeah.
sure. And
I just
can
wanna
I
say
can I
oh,
just
go ahead.
say one thing? As far as the way that you work, like I have a lot of respect for that. And I feel like I've been trying to go for something like that. You know what I mean? I've been trying to aim for that in a couple ways. When I started finger drumming, I feel like that's more true to like doing something live
Yes.
than programming. As much as I love programming, I feel like that's kind of the newness of that is wearing off, where I want to do stuff that's more like spontaneous and more natural and more like, because I can do more like finger drumming that I can't program, because
Yeah,
I've tried to reprogram stuff that I've played finger drumming and I'm like, I can't even wrap my head around it, although it feels good, sounds good. And another way that I've been kind of moving for that is just doing these little challenges. Because you say you don't revisit anything, and so I did a 30-day beat challenge a while back, and I shared that on Instagram. So that was like making a beat a day. And that really requires to make decisions. And it's not like coming back to your beat and like obsessing about it, little perfections and stuff. And I think that's an important part of it. I think that's kind of what you do is you're not obsessing about what you just put down. You're putting it down and you're moving on. You sequence it or whatever it is you're doing and you move on. And if that's a segue for what, if you want to explain what you've been doing as far as like your, wet paint theory. I mean,
absolutely. Well, we discussed it, in length, man.
sure,
And nobody got to see that, but there is a little hint to it in that premiere.
for
So if you're just showing up to the stream late, guys, after we're done, make sure you go and watch the premiere because the premiere was pretty cool. We got to do some really cool stuff with a sample off of a vinyl. It's a rhythm roulette type thing, but stream era style. So let's talk about Bob Ross for a second.
yeah,
Bob Ross is obviously a world famous painter, and I've referenced Bob Ross several times on my channel. Um, but Bob Ross, he's also there's a link to his documentary on the streamera.org website, so you can check it out there. But he was so powerful as a community figure. Like this guy started by just going around one person at a time in his local area, showing his paint, showing how to work it, basically teaching people that wanted to learn how to create things. And why did he do that? Because it was therapy. It was therapeutic. And he wanted to spread his message to as many people as he could.
definitely.
So as he went around the country doing this, it got bigger and bigger. There were these little stops along the way where he'd have a little bit of fame. Phil Donahue wanted him on the show. Old cat, but yeah, Oprah Winfrey wanted him on the show and all this. But really, what he was able to do was he was able to keep an art form going called paint wet on wet. So this is wet on wet. So wet on wet is a process that's used, and this all ties into what we're talking about. So just bear with me. So but just for the others.
Yeah,
So wet on wet is a theory that takes paint and allows you to create artwork in 30 minutes or less without having to wait for paint to dry. So what are you doing? You're moving on. You're getting one layer and
yeah,
you're moving on to another layer and you're not worrying and obsessing.
no,
That's the therapeutic benefit of this is that we're not obsessing about our work in the moment, in the real time,
yeah,
because all that does is distract us because
definitely.
we're not getting any work done because we're worried about the now rather than worrying about the process.
Right.
So,
Imagine that workflow.
yeah. So, wet on wet, you put down a layer first, a thick layer of paint. Bob Ross started out with all kinds of different, colors, but the first layer is the thickest. after the first layer. Then each layer after that is thinner. Thin paint sticks to thick paint. Now, why is that important to what we're talking about? Because what we're all doing when we're collaborating with each other, we're sending files back and forth. We're friggin' waiting for the paint to dry. We're sending zip files. We're like creating content by ourselves in a dark alley, you know, and then we're zipping it up and sending it to someone. When they get to it, and then they do their thing, and then who knows how long it takes, and then they send it back. So you got a whole process here of like time wasted. So let's just cut all that out and let's just build something. Even though there's a loss in audio quality, you gain a uniqueness. You gain a lo-fi sound that you can't get anywhere else because this is unique,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And to
So
emphasize the process,
say that again.
to emphasize the process, you may be losing on quality, but you're gaining on an experience that is therapeutic, like you were saying.
And at this moment, you might be losing out on quality, but just like anything, like if you add a piece of equipment to your studio right now, your creative process is going to take a step back for a little bit because you have to integrate that.
Sure.
But once you've integrated that, then you're caught back up. Now you're ahead of where you were before.
Mm.
So if we're going to take a step back to learn how to create music in a real-time environment in a broadcast situation like this, we are going to take a step back production wise, quality wise, but technology can be developed out of this to make things better. It takes some time, it'll take some innovation on our part, but
Right.
there's going to be ways that we can get better audio, different audio into these things. And as technology gets better,
Yeah,
we're going to be able to do more. So we're ahead of it. You see what I'm saying? Because technology will get better and this whole process might get better.
for
But
sure.
bottom line is that it's different and it's quick.
And
And
you get better too, because when you step into this process, of course, you're leaving things the way they are, and they may not be up to your standard of perfection, but as you experience it and you do it more, your abilities are going to grow, right?
yeah,
So the quality will increase. So that just kind of goes parallel to what you're saying as far as technology.
and that's not even taking into consideration the bonds that you make with people or
Which
the community vibe. Because if you're creating content with someone, chances are that more people are going to see you because you're now creating with a person that has their own,
right,
uh,
yeah, which
whatever you want to call it.
music is about harmony.
It is.
Guess
It is.
what? Yeah, so community, harmony.
Commu community,
I'm saying?
and yes, so that's the wet paint theory that, I coined wet paint theory, but Bob Ross called it wet on wet. Um, but really, wet paint theory is just a stream era, it's a way for us to collaborate without wasting time, and it'll all get better. So that's the thing, we have to just keep working at it. So and yeah, there's going to be some things coming down the pipe. We have with the Stream Era website, we will have our own servers. So when we have our own servers, then we can start actually giving out VSTs. The VSTs will allow us to record directly into our computers without the need of broadcast software. So we will be able to do collaborations with our own servers without the need of
Mhm.
that other stuff. This is all stuff that Phil can explain much better.
Is
You
this
know,
I'm sorry, is this, what you're explaining to me as far as MIDI over
this is not MIDI. This is audio.
audio?
This
Okay.
is another section can be MIDI.
And
We
I had imagined, like, with the MPC, they have, like, a Wi-Fi feature, which hasn't been expanded to much, but I
It's
was
true.
like, I wonder if they would be able to take that to the
That's
point
true.
where you collab, but
I
anyway.
actually think that right now we can do it.
Really?
I think if I spent a couple weeks with you, I think we could come up with a very practical way that you could play my synthesizers from your house. I think that I can figure that out, like,
It
without any extra technology. But the thing is making it so that everybody can do it is another thing because
Are you talking about over, like, with the
network
or
network MIDI.
just the MPC? Or so you're talking about with the
You would have to be connected to a DAW that
oh,
would send MIDI over your network, and then my network would connect to your network somehow.
are you aware of, like, the Wi-Fi on the MPC?
Yeah.
I don't they're not
So
using it for
we're
much.
not yeah, we can't use it at this point for anything other than updates apparently.
Or,
So
like, Splice maybe, I don't know.
QWERTY, yeah, you can get a QWERTY keyboard.
Oh, the QWERTY keyboard. Yeah, it's limited though.
You did a QWERTY video. I remember that.
Oh yeah, everyone loved that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
You all you get is just the it's weird though with the MPC. All you can do is like just letters, and then all the other things are grayed out anyways.
Yeah. So, oh, hey, look, together, everyone achieves more. Isn't that right, bro? That's totally true.
Yeah.
I believe it, and it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I'm like, yes, let's do like,
No, it's yeah.
you know,
It's hard to do it on your own.
it's hard to do it on your own, but it's also hard to let go of doing it by yourself, So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of human nature to.
right.
I
So,
don't,
yeah, man, where you want to go?
I don't know. You got nothing ready?
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff ready. But thing is are you feeling any type of way? Like, are you feeling because you had some good suggestions, you had some good topics that I
Yeah.
mean, we've already talked about some good stuff. I mean, the thing is that a lot of the stuff that I have, is basically stuff that we've talked about, like on the side and stuff like that. But I think that for the most part, we've covered, you know, all of your social media stuff, and we've covered your family life, and we've covered, let me see if there's anybody that has any, you guys got any questions for Lifted? Post them in the comment right now. Oh, obviously, and you've seen it on playback, because we're live, but you could be seeing this on playback. Leave us a comment, and I'll make sure Lifted gets it. Um,
Did you make sure to drop all your stuff? I know it's your channel, but
no,
or your stuff.
we'll get to that
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Um, so yeah, I think that
Wait, I got a question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
Are you having fun?
Am I having fun? I am having fun. That's the whole
Oh,
thing.
that seemed a little forced.
That Yeah, that's true. No, I am having fun. The only thing I worry about
Yeah.
is that, you know, we do these things and then like a catastrophic failure happens. So my mind is always a tiny bit like on the production thing and a little bit,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I would like to be more invested like in real time with what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Are you down for a collaboration? He says. Sorry, go ahead.
There was my mic that nearly fell down. I think I might have exaggerated that. It was like, "Oh, the worst that could have happened is happening." But it's
Yeah.
weird that I imagined it and then it happened. So the
Okay.
mind is a powerful thing. Stop thinking negatively. Start thinking positively.
Absolutely. So we got some questions for you, bro. Where are you at in the Bay Area?
Who? Who? Me?
Yeah, he said he asked, RTO is asking, where are you in the Bay?
Oh, why? You gonna come knock on my door and ask me the questions in person? I was kidding.
RTO is
I'm
cool,
not in
man.
the Bay Area at all. I lived in Sacramento, California for a minute. Rancho Cordova is where the college was that I went to. It was called Pinnacle College. They had one in the Los Angeles area. I think they were around since the 70s. And then they opened up a location in Rancho Cordova. And you know what? My class was like there was like 4 students in that class that graduated. When on
Okay.
the first day there was like 30 people. So I guess that was a sign of where they were headed and they just went downhill and then they so yeah, I'm not in the Bay Area. I'm nearby. I'm in Northern California and hit me up in a message and we can talk and get familiar if you want to know more specifics. I don't understand, why you'd want more specifics at this point, but we can talk. Ask
Yeah,
me
no,
any
RTO is cool, man. He's just throwing it out there.
other.
So yeah,
All right. I don't mean
RTO's
to get weird on you.
no, yeah, it's cool. So actually, somebody mentioned this, and this was something else I wanted to bring up too. And so the whole title of this was about balancing, right? About the balancing, and
Hmm.
I want you to tell us
Yeah.
where you find balance. How do you get balance? Do you have balance in
No.
your life when it comes to the productions and family? And
No.
okay,
No, I'm trying to find balance. That's been become a focus for me. Trying to find it. So the organization thing is new. The calendar on the back is new. I don't know how long you've been because you expressed how important organization is. I'm new to it. And so I was going hard with that for the last year. I was developing that. I was failing with it, but I developed a system where I would circle things that I accomplished and X things off where I failed or where I failed to meet what I was attempting to schedule. And I think this is important because I think maybe this will be a useful tool. So because when I fail to meet those things with the X, I put the X on there. It wasn't a moment for me to be hard on myself because I think if you're not organized, maybe you'd be hard on yourself if you made goals and you failed them. But I started to notice that there was a pattern between when I failed. So when those X's were on the calendar, and I noticed that there was a pattern. So there was a reason behind it. So rather than being hard on myself, I could gather that information and realize, why was I not able to meet that expectation or that goal that I had? Well, it's because there was this going on attention to. So I wasn't able to balance it. So maybe I needed to reschedule something or look at it differently. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I
So
do.
as far as having balance, um, yeah, man, I'm trying to find it. So I'm working with what I have. So how about you?
Well, what I gathered from what you're saying is pretty much the same thing with me, is that it's about just being proactive
Hmm.
and trying to work through these things that we don't know. Um, only thing I know is the only thing is that I don't know everything, and finding answers comes from weird directions. The one thing that I started doing recently that is new for me, that's actually helped a lot, is now I know this is hokey, but I have constantly made fun of these nerds that talk about the universe. Okay. Like the universe is talking to me, this and that.
Hmm.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done making fun of people that talk about the universe and how, this person, the coincidences,
Uh-huh.
how, because I'm actually feeling now like the answers are presented to me every single day.
Yeah.
All I have to do is be open enough to see it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Every day, every single day, there's this weird thing that happens now because I'm open to it, because now I'm a damn universe nerd.
For
Not
sure.
only am I a tech nerd, but I'm a yoga nerd. So now we have like this like huge thing now where I'm thinking
Mhm.
every little thing I see is important.
Gotcha.
So I make a lot of notes, man. I make a lot of notes.
Mhm.
So I write notes down. I try to stay organized. And the other thing is I try to include people in what I do. That's a really good way to stay organized because I'm more accountable to others than I am to myself most of the time. I
That's
don't know.
that's important.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true for everybody, but I find that if I'm involved in something with someone else, I take it much more seriously than a self-imposed deadline.
Yeah. Well, it's like creating an accountability because it's not just yourself that's expecting it. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes there's purpose in. Well, I feel like all purpose comes from love. So it's about what you give. And so when you say you got someone like you got a community, they might be expecting something, and you want to give to that, right? So
Right.
that's how I interpret what you said. So,
Right.
but I'm with you on this whole. You're talking about the universe thing. I'm kind of like you. Like I was like, I've always been like cynical, kind of anti-superstitious
Mhm.
kind of thing. But I've seen those kind of things that you're talking about. I've seen them popping up. I've seen them with you. I don't always verbalize them. I just kind of take them in and let them be what they are, rather than giving them more energy than they need. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's just about going with the flow, taking the signs in, and just knowing that you're where you need to be. Right now. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think that we did a pretty good job at least telling our own stories. This was a question that somebody had asked. So, with work and with the family and everything else, how much time a week do you dedicate to your own personal goals? Because there's a crossroad, like personal goals,
mhm.
family expectations. So for you, it's different with everybody.
Yeah.
But with you, what do you think?
When you pulled up that streamerror.org thing, and then you had the little inspirational quote, it said, um, if you have the hungry, I forget what. Can you pull it up real quick?
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be possible. How long would that take?
Oh, just a second.
Just to illustrate, and then I'll tell you about how much time I get a week. So it said something to the effect of,
Thanks everybody for being here.
yeah,
Also, I just want to
appreciate
shout everybody out. This
Sorry,
is like
yeah, my bad.
no, no.
Sorry, I'm
Listen,
not in the
this
chat
pod,
as much.
this it's all good, man. It's
I'm
all good.
trying to have full attention here, so we can really
You
be
are.
in the moment. But I
You're
got
getting it.
my phone and I'm looking at the chat every once in a while, but I haven't been able to
You're
respond.
You're giving it your all. That's cool. All right. So this is if you scroll down to the streamera.org website, you got Lifted. Lifted's the first profile. If you're just seeing this, send me your information. Let's work on something. You will be the next profile in here. You click on Lifted, and then go down to the inspirational quotes. He's got some cool stuff in here. Got his bio, links to all of his social media. This cool little thing, and then
Oh, is this rotating? It's not the same one every time you click on it.
is that yeah, Phil.
Okay.
Phil.
No, that's
Damn
cool.
it, Phil.
That's cool. I'll find it in my IG real quick.
All right. Yeah. So, Phil, good job, man.
But okay, I'll just explain.
Yeah.
So
Or even just give us an
how
interpretation.
much time do I get to dedicate to this? And the only way I find time to do this is if I take my lunch break to do it. And I get a lunch for break or an hour for break for my lunch break. And so that hour is dedicated to music in some way or planning a video for YouTube. And so I just found the IG quote. And this is what was inspired from that. So it says, if you're hungry and have the ambition to eat well, you may need to practice patience and learn how to fast before you can feast. So take from that whatever you will. I don't know. So that's pretty much that was inspired from me just kind of foregoing my lunch break in order to create because that was the most effective time I found to actually do what I'm trying to do.
Can you
Not
read it one more time?
read it one more time. Sure.
Please.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I don't eat. I eat very quickly. I take my 15-minute break and I eat.
Hey, sacrifice.
I take my yeah. That's exactly the point of this quote. It's sacrifice. If
Okay.
you're hungry and you have the ambition to eat well, you may need to practice patience and learn how to fast before you can feast. So the fast is the sacrifice. You may need to wait, be patient, sacrifice some things before you can have what you want. So it is all about sacrifice in order to achieve what it is that you want.
And that is, if somebody wants to read that and ingest that fully, you would basically be putting all your eggs into one basket. It's
Mm.
kind of like goal or bust. Do you find that pressure?
Yeah, I guess I've just developed this belief in myself that yeah, I'm kind of putting my eggs in one basket. It is kind of how did you put it? All or bust?
Feast or famine?
Feast or famine, exactly. Yeah, somewhat. But I'm willing to do what I'm doing on the side. I mean, I have a job that's not exactly what I want to do, but I find the benefits from it, growth and stuff.
Very clear. This guy still works every day. So, this guy is putting in the work and he's working.
Right.
So,
So, yeah, it's not quit your job and just do music.
thank you.
Do your music with the time that you have. Know your priorities. If you got a family, they're number 1. Because I've been at the point, and I understand, I've been at the point where I'm fighting for my family's time or for my time to do this on my own. But then it's just such a negative feeling. Like, what's the point, man? I'm losing out time on my family. I'm getting frustrated. Nah, you got to find some kind of balance. So, there was another quote. I think one of those that I put on IG. It was like, "Hip hop is alchemy. Make the best of your situation." It's just the tradition of hip hop where you take something because if you think back, it was kids in the city. They had no instruments. This was the idea. They took music that already existed and they made something from it and they had a party.
Right.
So, it's make the best of what you have. That's what alchemy represents, taking whatever and turning it to gold. You know what I mean? And be patient. Number one.
I find so much inspiration in the way hip hop was built
Mhm.
and the way that, like when I had the last guest on, I had Gadget on, and he talked about, I asked him very specifically, how did you get people to buy in? And how did he said, well, I have a personal relationship first.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
people are willing to just jump in the car and go do a photo shoot or go do a video shoot or make some tracks. So without the relationships building portion,
Yeah.
it's really difficult to achieve, unless you've got like a label behind you and they're creating something for you, like an image.
Right.
Um, it really is one at a time, just like Bob Ross.
Yeah.
And you really got to find people, like-minded people find each other. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And
people on the
I
vibe.
I think I believe in this process more because you brought up a label, and that was I don't know, maybe it's wishful thinking that we live in another time where we can just do this on our own, but yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the whole label thing? I mean, it could be a good thing, but I don't
Uh,
know.
as far as being signed by one?
Yeah, major labels and stuff, because I think people aspire for that, maybe still, and then they don't realize that there's a lot of tools at their disposal if they just, inform them their if they inform themselves.
So, for me, staying true to everything else I've said so far, I couldn't say anything else but the fact that for me, this is therapy.
Mhm,
So, for me, to build a community that is successful in its own with its own people is what I'm looking for. If I can turn this into a record label, that's what I'll do.
mhm.
I'm not looking for that type of notoriety. You
Right,
get respect from the underground community when you do things your own way and when you don't jock sniff to try and get
right.
above the next guy. Everybody has to put in their own time and be supportive. And if you're not supportive of everyone, then you're probably just wishful thinking that um, it's long term. Like
Yeah,
you gotta have like roots.
right,
Right.
and I was gonna say, you gotta be patient and be willing to build because it's kinda human nature to wanna to have that instant gratification, so I think that's the appeal of, like, trying to get a label to back you. It's just like, I just want to put out some tracks. They do the work. It's money, money, fame, fame, whatever. It's the ego. But yeah, no, man, I'm all about building, having patience. I feel like in the long run, those are better things to aspire for than money, fame, or praise, glory. All that stuff fails and it's eventually going to disappear. So, truth is, let's build together, be patient, build on the things that are real and are the foundation for all living and created things and all things in the world, man. They're all based off of truth So I'm saying, let's build. Yeah, I'm with you.
And Jay Dilla was one of the biggest introverts.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like this dude, he was a recluse, man. Like he didn't,
Mhm.
so the fact that he still had a crew and he still had people that followed him religiously, it was because he had a vision
Mhm.
and other people saw that he was actually committed to his vision. And I think that in our community, in the hip hop community, underground music culture, that anybody with an original vision and the drive, as Gadget put it, the drive, they can make it, even if it's just neighborhood success, whatever it is, it still can be meaningful. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if I'm ever in a place where I can help people,
Mhm.
uh, get out of bad situations, whatever. Like I would love to be able to do that. And,
Right.
maybe
Right.
one day we will get there. But
Yeah.
um
And you said an important thing, like, even if it's neighborhood success, I think we got to shift our perspective on what success is, because
mhm.
maybe a lot of people are aiming for something that isn't necessarily necessary for
Yep.
success. That sounds redundant, but you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I've found the biggest help for me was just uh like what is it? How does it go? Like being comfortable with being different,
Mhm.
like being cool with being different. Um and knowing that other people think it's cool that you're different and like having that realization that I'm not like everybody else.
But the thing is, we all are different, but we just don't realize it because we're too busy trying to fit in.
Everybody wants to be part of something. Goes back
Right.
to the original Stream Bap, video I did with students. Like everybody wants to be a part of something, and it's just human nature, I guess.
And
But
that's fine. But just be that unique piece of the puzzle that's a part of
yeah,
something for sure.
yeah. And I always tell people, just reach out to people,
Yeah.
because even like the biggest introverts in the world still need human like interaction every now
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah, for
So
sure. For
yeah,
sure. I mean, I appreciate it, man. I'm definitely a big introvert. I spend a lot of time alone, and
a
I,
lot of us
I
do.
appreciate you reaching out for sure, Will, because it's teaching me
Absolutely.
something. So, and so this whole YouTube journey has actually led me down paths I didn't expect. I thought I was just gonna be making videos in my bedroom, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
there's some communication, some friendships developing, some bonds and some community. So it's been a very cool experience, and
It is cool. It is cool. And I want you guys to make sure that you subscribe to Lifted's channel too, because he's going to be doing some different things. He's doing a whole series coming up, right? Aren't you doing another series too on top of
I'm trying.
possible vlog
Yeah,
stuff?
do more vlogs that kind of document. So it is a series of just the progression of me attempting to try to make my dreams a reality, and I'll leave it
Everything
at
that
that.
we've talked about.
Yeah, yeah. So just to have the freedom to do that, and just pursue what it is, we love doing as creators and musicians.
Yeah. And so, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I want to make sure to give you the last word. We've
Uh,
had a good show, man. We've hit a lot of different stuff. It was a really positive thing for everybody. I can tell in the chat, people are happy. So, is there anything else? You have any
mm,
last kind of things? Did we miss anything?
at this point, no. I think I'm just rolling with it. Um, no, I don't think so.
Alright, that's cool, man. That's cool. All right, man. So I just want to say thanks again to everybody that was here. If I missed you, I apologize. But yeah, this was a great show. Make sure to check out Lifted. Make sure to check out this live chat right now. Go in that live chat. This is our community. There's a lot of guys on Facebook. Um, we're just a little piece of this. There's a giant puzzle here of great. I mean, we have some great freaking artists, dude, that we work with. And it's amazing that we can all share each other's visions. So I think that that's really what I want to leave it on is just reach out to people and also include others where you can. So I think that's it, man. We did a good job talking about the balance. And if there's any last questions, I'm going to go ahead and take a look here. Um, Cool, man. Big Will says he made a few cool connections, and yeah,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
everybody,
thanks, King.
if
Appreciate it.
you're at the point where you're trying to figure out where to start, figure out that it's right here, it's right now. Just start. I just wanted
Just
that little bit of encouragement. Just start, man. That's the where to start. That's the place to start right now.
excellent, bro. I couldn't think of a better thing to say. All right, guys, come back next week. Subscribe to the channel. Go find Lifted. Go find all these people. Get in touch. All right, y'all.
No doubt.
Peace.
Good night, everyone. Peace.